We have a quadratic trinomial in this problem number 7, right? What do you do with x? Well, f tells us. We're using the f rule, and the f rule says to take whatever comes in and do all this to it. Square it, add 4 times that thing, and then add 4. Now what we want to do in part A is to make this computation here, where I'm going to take this minus this, and then subtract, then divide by this minus this. So let's just start here. What is f of x? Well, f of x, that's right in front of us. That's that trinomial. F of x is this. So I'm going to start here with x squared plus 4x plus 4. Then I got a minus sign, so I'll bring that minus sign right here. Now be careful, when you have a minus, what are we subtracting? F of a. So I'm going to put a into f. So I'm going to have more than one term, so I'm going to put minus, you know what, I'm going to keep that as this color. Minus, and then minus all of this. What do you do with the a? You apply f to it. Well, here's f. F says to take whatever comes in. We're just calling it x, but it could be whatever. And our whatever is an a. So replace, up here, replace all the x's with an a. So I'll get a squared plus 4a plus 4. So it's going to be a squared plus 4a plus 4, then all of this gets divided by exactly this, right? You're not processing this. There's not f of x. You're not putting this into any function, It just says x minus a. All right, now what? Now, why don't we remove these parentheses? So let's just multiply through. So we'll get x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus a squared minus 4a minus 4 all over x minus a. Now I see something I can do here, right? I got a 4 and a minus 4, so I can at least get rid of that. So if I cancel those 4's there, what have we got here? What are we left with? X squared plus 4x minus a squared minus 4a all over x minus a. Now, this is a fraction. You always want to ask, can I reduce it? Well, how do you reduce a fraction? You factor and cancel. So is anything common here? Well, I got 4 terms. Nothing's common all the way through, but I can group. What if I group together these two? What's common? An x. And what if you group together these two? What's common? Well, it's an a, but remember, the first term in the group is negative. So I'm going to take out a negative a. So to begin with, if I take out that x, what are we left with? I had 2 x's to begin with. I removed 1, so there's 1 left. And then I had 4x, but I removed the x, so what's left is a plus 4. Now I've got a negative a common, so I'm going to take out a negative a. And what's left? Well, there were 2 a's to begin with. We removed 1, so there's 1 left. And then what about here? 4a. Take out the a. All right, so there's a 4 left. Now watch out for the sign. Right, it was negative, but I factored out a negative. So it's like multiplying by a negative. This would be a positive, right? Negative times positive will be negative. So this is positive a. Now look, I know right now I can see this is going nowhere. X minus a. That factored form didn't work because when you factor by grouping, what you want is something common, right? We had nothing common to begin with, and I still have nothing common. I got an x and an a. I got x plus 4, a plus 4. There's nothing common. This factored form didn't work. So what I need to do is come back up here and see if I can factor it slightly differently. So I'm going to do that up at the top here. I'm going to rewrite that expression, which is x squared. Let me see if I can actually do that. This is going to be x squared plus 4x minus a squared minus 4a over x minus a. But this time, instead of grouping the first 2, like I did down here, I'm down to bottom left, instead of grouping these 2, which have an x in common, and these 2, which have an a in common, I'm going to group together these 2. The first and the third, do you see that? That's the difference of 2 squares, x squared minus a squared. And then what about this one right here? The second and the fourth. there's a 4 common. So if I group together the first one, I just get, right, nothing's common, so I'm just going to get that x squared minus a squared. And then here, I've got a 4 common, right, with this one and this one. There's a 4 common, so I'm going to take out the 4. I'm taking out positive 4 because the first term in the group is positive, so take out positive 4. And what's left, right, from the second and the fourth? What's left if you take out a 4? An x and a minus a. All over x minus a. Now, difference of two squares. That'll factor like this. Conjugates, right? X plus a, x minus a, plus 4 times x minus a. All of this over x minus a. And then look at the top. What's common? X minus a is common. So I'm going to factor that out. So I take out the x minus a, and then what's left? The x plus a and a plus 4. So what's left is x plus a plus 4 all over x minus a. And then I see the x minus a's are going to cancel. That's what we were hoping for. And I'm left with this, x plus a plus 4. All right, so no doubt, that was a challenge. Right, so I started back up here. Here's my function. I put in x, I put in a, worked out nicely here. Then I tried to factor this, right, and I tried one way, it didn't work. So instead of the group, I grouped together the first and second, third and fourth. It didn't work, didn't go anywhere, nothing common. So I tried it differently. I tried the first and the third, and the second and the fourth, and then it did work. Part B, we've got this quadratic again, but this time what we want to compute or simplify is this. F of x plus h, so we're going to process an x plus h, right? We'll put an x plus h here, and then minus f of x itself, and then after we get that difference computed, then we'll divide the whole thing by h. So let's start here. What do you do with that x plus h? Well, we apply the f rule to it. So here's f. So you replace all the x's with x plus h. If you put the x plus h here, you'll see it right here. Now put it here. So if you put it there, you get x plus h squared plus, now, x plus h. You put it here, right? Replace all the x's with x plus h. So then it's going to be plus 4 x plus h, and then you still have that 4 out here, right? So plus 4, all right? You okay with that? If this was a 5, what would you do with a 5? Wouldn't you put it here and here? 5 squared plus 4 times 5? Instead of a 5, we just got something with a longer name, x plus h. So I get x plus h squared plus 4 times x plus h plus 4. Now, minus. All right, so here comes that minus sign. I'll draw it down here. There's the minus sign. Minus what? F of x. Here's f of x. It's those 3 terms. And because I have more than one term, I'm going to capture all of them by using parentheses. X squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay, I've got the top. Whole thing's divided by h. So let's expand the top. So I'm squaring a binomial. I got a pattern for it. Square the first, x squared. Multiply these two together, hx, and double it. So I get 2hx. Then square the last, so I get plus h squared. Then what? Take that 4 through, right? Just multiply through by that 4. All right, so I get plus 4x plus 4h. And now I've still got that 4 out here, so plus 4. And now take that minus sign through the parentheses. Minus, minus, minus. So it just changes all those signs. So I get minus x squared minus 4x minus 4. Don't forget the division. All over h. And now let's simplify the top. So if I'm doing this correctly, everything without an h should cancel. What about this one? No h, right? So x squared minus x squared, those cancel. That's gone. What else? No h. So 4x minus 4x, those cancel. Those are gone. One more. There's a 4 minus 4, those are gone. So what's left on top here? This one, this term, and this term. All right, so I'll write them. So what's left? 2hx plus h squared plus 4h, right? Did I get them all? 2hx right there, plus h squared, yep, plus 4h, all right? And it's all over h. Now it's a fraction. We always try to reduce fractions, and the way to reduce a fraction is factor and cancel. So you notice there's an h in every term. So factor that h out. Here's what's left. There's an h right here. Take it out. What's left? 2x plus, now there's h squared. That's hh. Take one out. There's an h left. And then there was an h here. If you remove that, what's left is the 4. Whole thing's over h. And now, assuming that h is not 0, you can cancel these. And then if you do that, what's left? What's left is a 2x plus h plus 4. And there we've got it.